It's WNYC. Coming up on 93.9 FM and AM 820, it's Marketplace. On the show tonight, in the UK, as their workforce gets older, many companies are implementing policies for employees experiencing menopause. At British Airways, the effort started after one pilot brought her older colleagues together.
I've now got a third of the women pilots in British Airways in this group now. And from there, it spiraled into reaching out to our head of wellbeing.
A look at what the new policies mean for employee retention. That's next on Marketplace. Won't be back with All Things Considered at 7 tonight, because at 7, it's our monthly call-in special, Ask Governor Murphy.
WNYC supporters include Ava, The Secret Conversations. Downton Abbey's Elizabeth McGovern takes the stage as Ava Gardner. A look back at the golden age of cinema with Mickey Rooney and Frank Sinatra starts July 29th. Tickets at avagardnerplay.com.
This is WNYC 93.9 FM and AM 820. NPR News and the New York Conversation.
Marketplace is supported by Mercury. Mercury offers banking and financial software to help businesses do more in one place. Learn more at mercury.com.
Today on the program, the story of an aging workforce told in 3 parts. From American Public Media, this is Marketplace.
Marketplace is supported by Solidigm. Today's AI ambitions require a different approach to storage. Solidigm offers solid-state storage solutions optimized for AI with higher capacities, greater speed, and energy efficiency. StorageForAI.com. And by Raymond James, a firm focused on transforming lives, businesses, and communities through tailored wealth management, banking, and capital markets solutions. Disclosures at RaymondJames.com.
In London, England today, I'm Kai Risnall. It is Wednesday, 16 July. Good as always to have you along with us. Everybody along for more from our series, The Age of Work. What the demographic changes happening in the United States and across the rest of the planet are going to mean for our economic future.
All right. Meet the makers. Crafty Fox Market, established 2010. Let's see what we have here.
Part 1 of our story, The Personal, has me, Neela Richardson. She's ADP's chief economist and our partner on this project. We're at King's Cross, central London-ish, if you're unfamiliar, walking by an outdoor exercise class and a water park full of kids into a pop-up market inside what looks to be a rehabbed warehouse. High ceilings, brick walls, dozens of tables with vendors selling jewelry and art and pottery. Also, body butters.
My name's Stephen Newell. I'm the founder of That's It Skincare Limited.
Tell me about your company, That's It.
Yeah, so That's It Skincare. So basically what I did is I started this company when I was 50. I turned 50.
Wait, how old are you now?
54 now.
All right, good.
So this is my 4th year of trading.
Okay.
Basically what happened is I've been making this skincare for my family for about 8 or 9 years. One of my children had skincare conditions. So I started off looking at YouTube recipes and all that sorts of stuff.
Just doing it in your kitchen, right?
Just in my kitchen, trying different things, trying it on the kids. Kids will tell you straight, you can't make me do that. That is too greasy. I don't want that. Don't put that on me. You can't make me.
That's your market research right there, right?
Do your daughters know you say this when you talk to the press?
Sometimes I find that they're 17 now, the twins, and they come and help me on the stall and stuff.
Right.
And so when I tell them my story, I say, this is one of them here. And then they're like, oh, really? Your skin looks amazing.
Yeah.
So we do all of that. And then lockdown. So I'm a
the pandemic.
Right, pandemic. So I'm a graphic designer by trade. So I've been a graphic designer for over 30 years, right? But I've been freelance for the last 15 or so. And literally overnight, they said no freelancers from Monday. It was a Friday. Everything, income stopped, everything stopped. So I was like, wow, what are we gonna do here? And I don't ever want to be in that position where something else outside impact my whole impact for my family, you know? So it's actually the kids that said, why don't you sell your skincare, Dad?
All right, but wait. So you were a freelance graphic designer.
Yeah, still am.
Right? Still are when you can get a gig.
Yeah.
Freelance is one thing, right? You're running your own business, kinda, right?
Yeah.
How do you learn how to be an entrepreneur?
right? Did you go someplace and say, go to entrepreneur school?
So what it was, right? I've always considered myself a worker.
Yeah.
But when it comes to do my own thing, in a space I'm not comfortable in.
At 50, right?
At 50, right? This is my last role, right? This is my last role as far as I'm concerned. I was like, right, after I Googled what was happening, what people were doing, it took me 6 months to get myself in order. Launched in January 2022 with the mindset like, well, people kind of know me in the entertainment world. They kind of know me in the graphic design world. I'm Big Steve. I could do this.
Big Steve.
I could do this.
We should say you are actually big.
I could do this. Right. A week later, after the whole fanfare of me online, ooh, okay, sales are not really coming through anymore. Like, okay, so how do I do that?
Right.
Was it harder than a graphic design campaign?
Now I'm doing 7 days a week, right?
Wow.
But now my mindset is like, but I'm doing it for my business, right? So I was at a market like this, chatting to my neighbors, and then somebody came along and loved my product and said, oh, Shia, fantastic. So when did you start this business? And I told her what I did. She said, have you heard of Startup for Seniors? I said, who are you talking to? She goes, but did you know that a lot of businesses, new entrepreneurs, are what we call seniorpreneurs? That start on another from 50 onwards. I said, what are you trying to say? I was getting a bit like offended. Like, what are you trying to say here? What are you trying to say? Like,
where's the senior
what
here?
What are you talking about? There's no OAPs over here. What are you talking about? So then she was like, no, have a look at this. So I thought, let me just see what they're on about. Yeah. So it's like a 6 weeks course. And it was the most amazing thing to start me off because they introduced me to business planning, like the one-page business plan, and it transformed my business in the next 6 months.
So how is business now?
So business is excellent in the terms of reach. I've got nearly 3,000 customers, regular customers coming back. We've got this whole cost of living crisis at the same time. Right. We've got a lot of things happening. So like revenue's a bit down this year from last year at the moment. However, I'm on that point where it's ready to scale. I'm looking for funding now.
Well, that's what I was going to ask. You've bootstrapped this whole thing, right? This whole thing so far is out of your pocket.
Yeah. And any freelance work, max
just goes into this.
Max overdraft. I've gone for the whole thing. Yeah.
So there's some risk there. You've taken on some personal risk.
All up until this point, I've always been risk averse. This time, I chucked everything in it. Last roll of the dice, man. Come on.
Because you believe.
Yeah, I do.
Would you have had the guts, the drive, the persistence at 35 had you had this business idea that you do now?
Great question.
That's a good question, you know. I see, my problem was I do a lot of things. So I was doing music. I did music when I was younger. I do acting. I've been in movies. This thing, I think if I'd started it when I was 35 and said, I'm not going to do any of that acting stuff, I'm not going to do any of that stuff, I'm going to focus on the business, I think I would have been quite major. But things come when they're supposed to come.
So now you're going out looking for funding.
Yeah. So
how's that going?
So I didn't know anything about that either. So I went to this business conference in year 2, right? It was like startups and stuff like that. And I went there and they were all talking about strategies and exit plans and all this kind of, like, what are you talking about? Right. What language is this? I don't know any of the terminology, but I thought if I was in their environment, some of it would rub off. An hour and a half in, I was ready to leave. And then I met somebody who said to me, have you spoken to that charity over there? It's a charity. Do you think I need charity? And they said, yeah, it's called Digital Boost. They give free mentoring and business guidance. So what they do, they use people in the industry, whether it's in banking, marketing, whatever it is in the industry, they offer their time for free, and you have a one-to-one, as many times as you like.
About Neela's question as to whether this would have worked at 35, would you have been able to ask for help at 35? Big Steve at 35? Come on, man.
I was a little bit arrogant, a little bit out there. I wouldn't have asked nobody for anything.
One question, do you think that the UK government is aware of people like you, people in their 50s ready to start a business, having the passion?
We're invisible. Let's be real. I'll be real with you, yeah? We are what they might consider micro businesses, right? And I'll be even more honest with you. 95% is what I say are women that do this stuff creatively. They've got some brilliant ideas. They're doing a lot of stuff, but they're not earning enough to do it full time. Things are slowly changing. There's also a few more grants that have been happening locally to help female founders. Mm-hmm. But then the next step is the biggest one. Getting that 150K to really take you up, let you go out there and put yourself in stores. I mean, you get an order for 5,000 from Whole Foods. What are you going to do? You're going to be whipping that up in your kitchen? You can't be doing that. It's that next jump. There's no support. They don't ask us what we need.
And what could they do? What specifically could the UK government do to help?
You know, all of the government things that always come, we need money. But I'll be honest with you, I can't scale without the funds. I can't. I've met so many of these traders, again, mostly women, that have given up on their dreams. Given up. Because financially, they just can't handle it anymore. And imagine that in your 50s and you're juggling like you were in your 20s.
Right.
I'm actually earning less now than I was in my 20s, but it's to build something.
You're happier.
It's to build something. Right. I can juggle, I can do my little thing, but it's to build something. I can see something at the end of the line. You know what I mean? And it's that hope. It's the hope that keeps people doing it.
People, as we say on this program all the time, are the economy. Companies matter too, though. That's next. Part 2 of our story, The Corporate, comes from a woman who changed culture and policy inside her company so she could keep working as she got older.
I'm Suzanne. Hello, Kai.
Nice to see you.
Hi,
How are
Kai.
you?
I'm good, thank you.
Hi, I'm Mila. Great
Hi,
to meet
Mila.
you.
Suzanne Morgan is 57 years old. She's a long-haul pilot at British Airways, and when Neela and I met her out at Heathrow the other day, she was fresh off a flight from Hyderabad, India.
Good. It was good. Long, but yeah, it's fine. It's good. Nice day for flying, so beautiful.
We chatted for a bit as security checked us in. Turns out she works in pilot recruiting, too. And as we stood there, a younger, one assumes pilot in training, approached a little bit starstruck.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say hello because you're kind of my hero.
Oh, how are you? Come over here.
Sorry.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Yeah.
She told Suzanne she's hoping to fly with her one day. Suzanne said to reach out if she ever needs anything, about which more in a second.
What made you want to start flying commercial airlines?
So I started flying when I was 4 on my dad's knee in a glider. And I was surrounded by aviation, really. My mother was a journalist. She edited a gliding magazine. My brother, he flew as well. He was older than me. But when I was sort of growing up on the airfield, I just didn't see any women pilots, not any commercial at all. In fact, we didn't really, in the UK, get commercial pilots until about late 80s. So it was only when I went to university I joined something called an air squadron, which is run by our Royal Air Force, and they taught me how to fly for free. And then I applied to the Air Force and got in, but unfortunately in the 90s they weren't taking women for combat roles. It was only transport only. And as much as I wanted to do that, I then got offered this sponsorship with British Midland, decided to go commercial.
At that first commercial job that Suzanne mentioned, she was one of only 3 women pilots at a company that had no maternity policy. She worked to get those policies put into place, and now, decades later and decades older, there's something else: menopause. It's a reality that faces half of the working population. And to keep women in their jobs as they age, which countries like the UK and the United States are going to have to do as fewer young people enter the workforce, companies are going to have to be ready. The government here published a survey a couple of years ago. 1 in 4 women of menopausal age had considered leaving their jobs because of their symptoms.
For me, I was coming up to menopausal age, really, and I just didn't know what was ahead of me. I'd heard about hot flushes, I'd heard about things that might impact my career, and I was really quite concerned. So I couldn't find out any information at all. We have medicals every year, and I went to my medical examiner and asked them. But there's no data for women because we're the first sort of cohort to come up to that sort of older age. So I then asked my older colleagues, and we decided it was a good idea to share some information. I set up this WhatsApp group. I've now got a third of the women pilots in British Airways in this group now. And from there, it spiraled into reaching out to our head of wellbeing. And my group was a bit unique in that we had some challenges with the CAA, which is our Civil Aviation Authority, a bit like your FAA. Whereas every time you took some HRT, they would ground you.
HRT, hormone replacement therapy.
Yeah, exactly that. So if you took estrogen or progesterone, you were grounded for 2 weeks. Then if in a few months you upped the dose, you were grounded again for 2 weeks. And just the process of that it's difficult to ring up the company and say, I need 2 weeks off because of, it's not a nice thing to have to do. So eventually we lobbied and we got that changed because it is a natural hormone. It's no different to, anything else really. So again, there was just no data on women's health in the CAA.
What other changes have you been able to get BA to make, right? Because, not to put too fine a point on it, you're changing a company's sort of attitude and culture.
Yeah, so I think when we asked for support, one of the other big things we had as well, we were having issues with our local doctors. So in the UK, we have a general practitioner, and if you're feeling ill or you need help, you go to them. And a lot of them aren't menopause trained, so they don't understand. It was very difficult to sometimes get the right HRT. So we went to British Airways and asked, look, can we get some consultants and specialist doctors appointments, which they gave out to the pilots, because if we're not flying, it's a cost. So that was one of the big things that for us. And then recently they've introduced a menopause shirt, because I'm dressed now in a shirt and tie, look a bit like a man from my uniform.
It's a standard uniform, right? Yeah.
Exactly. So now we've lobbied to have an open neck shirt, and they've listened, they've designed it, and we're going to start trialing it in a few weeks.
Since you are involved in recruiting, you recruit young women. Do you recruit mid-career women as well?
No, exactly that. No, we do. What's nice about our Speedbird Pilot Academy is that it's open from age of 18 up to 55. So we're just changing the whole sort of dynamic, really, of our sort of workforce, of these new people coming in. It's lovely to see people having a second career, and maybe particularly women having had their children, thinking, actually, now it's my time, it's time for me. And they do really well with us because they've got life experience as well.
I'm trying to ask this in a delicate way. How much longer are you going to do this, and what do you think your legacy is going to be? Because there's a zillion pilots out there, but you have people walking up to you in the hallway saying you're my hero.
I love my job. I love flying still. That's the ultimate thing. I still love taking an airplane up and flying. I do a little flying in light aircraft as well. So I do have a passion still for flying. And I would do it as long as I still enjoy the job. I'm healthy, and there's no reason why I can't go on to 65. But I think the thing that we're trying to do is just, I work in a man's world, but I'm not a man, and we just need a bit of support through this transient time, so we can fulfill our careers, really, and we can choose when we want to retire.
It occurs to me you're bookending this experience. You started with maternity leave. You're ending with menopause, getting that through all the way through to retirement age. And I know, as a woman, just seeing policies in place, whether you're going to have a baby or experiencing symptoms, just knowing that those policies exist is an incentive to join. And so that increases your pool.
Definitely. I think it's so important that we have guidelines for all different phases of your life, really. So in British Airways, we've got obviously pregnancy guidelines and policies, but we have menopause guidelines, which have been in place for 2 years now.
Coming up, our story, part 3, drones and robot dogs.
Marketplace Numbers is supported by Commvault, cyber resilience for continuous business. Marketplace is supported by Odoo, dedicated to providing software designed to scale with businesses. Odoo's programs for manufacturing, accounting, and more aim to provide building blocks for creating a custom software suite. Odoo, what businesses need. And by Pure Storage. In a world of fragmented systems, Pure Storage delivers a single, consistent, as-a-service platform for all data storage needs across on-premises, cloud, and hosted environments. More at purestorage.com.
Governor Phil Murphy signed a state budget bill this month that includes $45 million for New Jersey's largest hospital chains. I'm Nancy Solomon, host of Ask Governor Murphy. On the next show, we'll ask him why money that had gone to nonprofit opioid addiction services is going to politically connected hospitals instead. And we'll take your calls. Ask Governor Murphy, tonight at 7 on WNYC.
Whether it's news from around the world or the latest from your neighborhood, New Yorkers turn to WNYC for the information and connection they can only get from All Things Considered. Be a part of that conversation through your business's support of WNYC. Learn more at sponsorship.wnyc.org.
You're listening to Marketplace on WNYC. Yes, at 7 o'clock, it is Ask Governor Murphy. A heads up that rain is in the forecast for tonight. Much of New Jersey, more westerly, is under a flood watch tonight, so be safe on those roads.
This is Marketplace. I'm Kai Risdall. Part 3 of our stories today, making the workers you've got more productive. That's how Neela and I found ourselves in the London borough of Southwark a couple of days ago. It had kind of Silicon Valley vibes.
Before we start, do you want tea and coffee?
He's asked already. Thank you very much.
We're good. Thank you.
Very nice of you. Except British. And I should remind you here that I just don't like scary things. Oh, man, it's alive. Don't like him at all. I'm sorry. Oh, this freaks me out. That nightmare fuel sound that you hear is one of those robot dog things you've perhaps seen video of, stamping its 4 scary little legs. It's blue and gray, vaguely skeletal, about the size of a King Charles Spaniel. Neela and I watched it walk out of a conference room, down a hallway, and it turned around, and I swear to you, it looked at me. Oh, that's freaky. Don't make it sit up like that. Oh, God.
It just blew you a kiss.
Oh, man. Let me just say right here, the video of it is on our Instagram, Marketplace APM. We were at a healthcare logistics company called Appian. Hamad Jailani, the guy we're talking to, is a medical doctor by training. Used to work for the UK's National Health Service, the NHS. And now he and this company he co-founded are partnering with the NHS to use robots like that blue dog thing and drones to carry medical samples and tests and the like inside and between hospitals. So with the robot dog waiting patiently in the corner, we sat down at a conference room table that had a big quadcopter drone sitting right on it. So what is the idea? What's the problem you're trying to solve here?
In a nutshell, it's using automation to make healthcare better, to make everything more efficient.
Because the NHS, like lots of other parts of all the economies, have a labor problem, right?
Yeah, of course. So I can share some stats
please
with
do.
you.
Sure.
So the number of people that are going to be aged 85 or older, so, quite elderly, not even, yes, I accept that 50-year-olds aren't that old, 70-year-olds aren't that old, but we're talking 85 years and older where they're going to be having lots of care. That population is projected to double in 2045. Meanwhile, on the flip side, the population aged 20 to 34, where you would say are your healthiest, strongest, most active workforce, that's expected to decrease by 2063. So if you've got an aging population, you've got a decreasing workforce, and you've got increasing demands on the healthcare system, how on earth are you going to meet those if you don't have good logistics, moving all of those items around to every single person's home in individualized, whether it be rapid diagnostic test kits, whether it be blood sample test kits, and that's what we want to fundamentally redesign.
There is a lot. I took away that in your medical opinion, 50 years old isn't old. So that's the one thing.
Amen.
But I'd like to break that answer apart a little bit. First, you said that people would be responsible for their large aspects of their own health care,
sure.
Which meant delivery of maybe test kits, for example. If it's automated and people are responsible for certain aspects of their own health care, where is the person that helps bridge the gap between getting the thing and doing the thing?
Well, it won't be a person, that's the point. Or at least we don't believe that it will be a person making all those decisions. No, it's going to be an automated system that determines this subset of the population, they need to be targeted because we think that they're at high risk of bowel cancer, so we're going to send them out testing kits. All of these things require good logistics, and you're absolutely spot on to say that as time goes on, people will only become more and more responsible for their health. In fact, that's what the government wants. It's what health systems around the world are pushing for.
Mm.
So you and your co-founders were sitting around the doctor's lounge one day and said, let's invent a drone delivery system?
Kind of, yeah. So Dr. Chris and myself, we were in our second year of medical training, and we saw a competition that was being run by the UK Space Agency, which was all about how you can use satellite technology to improve life on Earth. And both of us with our backgrounds, so to talk a little about my background, I'm originally from Afghanistan. So drones have always been on my mind for the very wrong reason, delivering bombs instead of blood. But it was, I have a very strong bone in my body, which is about using technology for good to improve access to healthcare. And that's a really big thing. It's all about access.
So you're starting with blood samples, is that correct? Is that the first?
We've done more than blood samples, but a core focus of ours is blood samples because it's urgent, it's high volume. Something like 90+% of all diagnostics, of all care is underpinned by laboratory medicine.
So for a blood sample, for instance, how does it work?
So before I answer the kind of flow of how, you need to understand the why.
Okay.
So if you take what we're doing right now at Guy's in St. Thomas's as an example, sample turns up at Guy's Hospital in the outpatient center or in the if you're an inpatient, goes to the lab, a porter takes it or a nurse takes it or it goes via the pneumatic tube system. So human involved in the taking of the blood, human delivering the blood from wherever you are to the lab, human then processing that sample, unpackaging it and then scanning it in, human then putting it into a packing list to say this needs to go in a specific bag with this other group of samples go to this specific location, human then picks it up and takes it to the van, human then drives that van. Human then gets out the van and walks around the campus for 5 minutes, waits for the lift for 5 minutes, takes 10 minutes to get up the goddamn lift, and then takes 10 minutes to get to the lab.
It's a lot of humans.
It's a lot of humans, and it's a total waste of time.
So of the 6 or 8 humans we just talked about, some number of them, 4, 5, 6 maybe-ish even, are going to be cut out of the loop by this quadcopter.
Drone and this quadruped robot and the robotic process automation, or at least if you're not removing the human from that loop, that unnecessary step, you are making them more efficient.
So we're going to have at some point, and I'm sure you've done tests and whatnot, but we're going to have these 3.5 foot, 4 foot diameter quadcopters buzzing blood samples all around London.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing it right now. You've got blood samples flying over your head from Guy's, St. Thomas's, cutting down a journey of what is more than 35 minutes to 2 minutes. And the fact that, you know, it's not just about the speed, as it's the reliability and the automated and the efficient nature of it. You know, the grand vision of this is such that you might need a hip operation one day. In fact, I'll say you're quite likely to need a hip operation one day. May you live long enough and have a healthy life.
All right.
I want it to be a world in which you come in, you have a chat with your doctor, you agree that you're going to need a hip operation. And from that moment, that entire logistics piece is completely automated. There's no human making a decision. So you've come in, the electronic healthcare records state that you're booked in to have a hip operation on the 25th of August. Appian's system, or the systems that are at play here, can abstract that information, send that over to the medical device manufacturer that is right for you, get it manufactured just in time, get that from that local warehouse to your local hospital, no earlier than when you need it, reduce the stock on the shelves, reduce it from expiring for the right person at the right time.
And this has to happen, and your business model relies on this having to happen because we have an aging population and a declining prime age workforce.
Yeah, and what are you going to do? Hire 1 million people just to sit in an office working out where things should flow? It works maybe now and we're struggling. It certainly won't be scaled. That's not scalable.
Technologically speaking, how far are we from your grand vision? How many years?
A couple. We're working really hard.
Oh, come on.
A couple. Blink a few times, give it a few years, less than 3, and you'll see how much of this we have automated. We're already deploying drones. We're about to deploy the quadruped robots, and we're already deploying robotic process automation, RPA, essentially bots on a screen that can book things in and book porters. And so we're already deploying those 3 levels of technology: automated flying robot, automated walking robot, automated clicking robot. Right? Everything you can kind of broadly categorize into one of those 3.
Technology is one way to keep an economy growing as the labor force shrinks. There is another option, though, and that'll be tomorrow on The Age of Work, live from the UK.
Marketplace is supported by LHH. LHH believes that recruitment doesn't have to feel cold. Through craft, care, and passion, it can be beautiful. LHH, a beautiful working world. Learn more at lhh.com/beautiful. And by Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort, offering a small ship experience with a shore excursion included in every port and onboard cultural enrichment. Discover more at Viking.com.
Once again, too much content, not enough time to do a final other than to say this. That robot dog thing, man, I'm telling you, scary on the videos, freaky in real life. Our media production team includes Brian Allison, Jake Cherry, Jason Dueller, Drew Jostad, Gary O'Keefe, Charlton Thorpe, Juan Carlos Torado, and Becca Weinman. Jeff Peters is the manager of media production. And I'm Kai Risdall. We will see you tomorrow, everybody. This is APM.